HTML. Let's verify it. Okay, so let's check the output, and you can see over here, this is a paragraph. Color is changed, font family is changed, and large size is over there. Then for H1 tag, it is bold. The color is blue, sky blue or aqua. And for this, the families, font family is changed and same the style. So I want now every one of you have to provide it at your end. Okay, great, Kirti. Sorry, Kriti. Okay, okay. So just share the output in the chat box. Just change your name over here, display some other properties over there, and you have to use external CSS for that. Okay. For Kriti, it is okay. Style.css is there. She is using paragraph. She has targeted the paragraph tag and the H1 tag over here. Okay. And the test heading, this is a paragraph. Okay, okay, perfect, Kriti. So this is how there are three types of CSS. Okay, we have explained, we have learned about each and everything here. Now, I just want any one of you to answer some questions regarding that. Okay. So first of all, that can anyone please explain that how many type of CSS are there and what is the difference between them and where we are basically initializing them? So just raise your hand and let others know about it, that the type of CSS, how they are different. Okay, so yes, Noor, over to you.
Sir, there are three types of CSS: inline, internal, and external.
Okay, perfect. So how they are different, like you can let me know about their scopes, that where they are defined.
So in external CSS, we have to explicitly define the like, as you define in last, that for paragraph we define the color and etc. And in the HTML we link that CSS through the code.
Yes, perfect. Okay. So good, Noor, and others also, those who are trying to give the answer. Yes, this is the correct answer, that in inline, basically what will happen, we are just providing them in a particular where the code is defined, where the tag is defined. In that same line, we are just doing the styling part. In internal, what we will do, we will move to the head section. We will define a style tag over here. And inside that style tag, basically, we will provide all the styling part. But in external CSS, we have to write the code in another file and then just append it to this file, like using link method, okay? Or using link attributes. So this is it for the types of CSS. Now let's move further. So just a second, revise it at your end, and as everyone has shared it also, so that's good. Just give me a second. Okay, so I hope that you have revised that what we have covered. Now, basically, what I will tell you about the ID and class selectors. Okay, that why we have to use it and what are that what is class and what is ID. So basically from this example, see what is happening, that if there are paragraph tag I have targeted in my style.css, okay, then what is happening, that all the paragraphs having p tag will be changed accordingly as per this style. But suppose as a user or as a developer, you want to have, sorry, just a second. Yeah, you have this one as suppose pink color and you want to style this one as green color. So that isn't possible until and unless you are not going to use style, you are not going to use ID and class. Okay, I will just let you know about ID and class through an example, then it will be more clear to you. Okay, so let's just do one thing, that change this code a bit, and then let's check about the concept of ID and class, and then it will be clear to you. So first of all, I am using a div over here. Okay. And in this div, what I will do, I will define a ID. Suppose ID I am defining over here is header. Just a second, I have to do it over here. So see what will happen through this line. I will let you know once, just a second. This is div having ID as header. Okay, so see what will happen right now. I am using this attribute over here, which is ID, and I am assigning that a particular name so that when I have to style it, I will just call this that where this ID is basically unique. Okay, so for every tag, this ID will be unique. So suppose if I want to target a div part, but of this particular ID, then I can access only this line over there and change the style for it only. Okay, it will be more clear when we just use it in our program and when we style it. Okay, then I will let you know that how you can access that. We have to use hash symbol for basically access a ID part and dot symbol for the class part. So let's just write the code first and then it will be clear to you. Suppose this is for our ID section. Now so I am creating another div. Okay, and in this div I am mentioning it as a class. Suppose a class is there and I am giving the class name as card. Okay. What basically I have done? I have just defined another div and here I am using the concept of class and the class name I have given is card. So let's just write some content over here also. H3 tag. This, wait, this is a div for class concept. Okay. So this is what we have done. And then I will just same thing I will do one more time so that we can get the difference of class and ID also. As I told you that ID must target a particular attribute, okay, and it is unique for each. Like if you are calling someone from their ID, then ID must be unique. You all have your ID and you all have that unique. Suppose in your class, if a teacher is asking for a student's roll number, then it will be unique for each and every student. But suppose if they tell that those who belongs to the suppose math part or PCS, okay, they are a separate group of students. So if you are targeting a particular group of students, then you have to use class over there. But if you are targeting a specific student, then for that you have to use ID over there. Okay, so what I will just do, I will just copy this over here, will paste it over there and just change it like this is class 2. Okay, so something like this. Now what will happen? See, now I have to style each and everything according to our, you can say, external CSS. What was happening, that if I target a particular tag, it will change accordingly. So what will happen, that this h3 tag up, suppose if in external CSS, what I will do, I will if use h3 over here and change the color for it, then the coming output will be like that this is a div for class concept will also be from pink color, and this is class 2 will also be from pink color. Okay. And in case if we have used over here also H3, then it will also become pink in color. But now I want to change the color according to my options and according to me. So for that, basically we are using this ID in class. Now let's style it accordingly. I am just removing this external CSS link over here. I am adding a style tag. We are using internal CSS. So first of all, I want to change wherever the ID is header, I want to change the design for that or change the style for that. So how I can do that? I have to access it. So for that, we will use a hash symbol. Hash symbol is used for the element where you have using the ID concept. So hash symbol and then the name of your ID, which is header. This is what you can do, that you are just targeting a particular ID or particular tag where the ID is header. And now you will write the code inside it accordingly. Like suppose background color you want to change and you want to make it to blue violet. You can do that. After that, if you want to simply change the color of the text, you can also do that. Suppose if you want the color to be azure. Okay. And after that, suppose if you want to add some margin, some padding, you can also do that to it. Okay. So basically, I'm not doing margin padding over here. You know the concept for it. I am just making the text align to be center. Okay. So basically what will happen, that whatever the text is there, it will come to the center of our screen. This styling I have done through the ID header. Okay. Now this is done. Now I want to change it basically for class. So for accessing a particular class, we have to use the dot operator. Dot and then the class name. What is the class name? Card is the class name. So you have accessed it. Okay. And accordingly, you have to just use it. So suppose if you want to use any border over here, you can append that over here. If suppose you want to have some border radius, then you can also use that. Border radius is there, and here we have to provide answer according to it, and we have to use the border radius accordingly. Okay, so anything we can provide, just a second. Border radius is there, and suppose it to be 0%. Like this you can uh, if I increase this percentage, then what will happen? It will just change the you can say shape of your particular box or particular segment to the rounded part. This is known as border radius. After that, I can provide them a background color. Suppose background color I want to assign, and I am assigning it to be brown. Okay. And also you can give it into pixels. Like suppose if someone wants to give it up to 10 pixel, then they can accordingly give it. Okay. So what will happen, wherever the class is card, that thing will change accordingly. Okay. So this is the basic difference between ID and class. ID will target to a specific part. Okay. Wherever the ID is there, that particular element will get just called, and that will be chain. Suppose here I just use another div, normal div. This is my website. This will not change. Okay. Or if suppose I use a h3 tag over here. Okay. And I just move the content of it from here to here. Then see why I have done it. Because if I just target this h3 tag in external CSS, then it will change the color for this line, okay, this line, and this line. But now as I am using the concept of class, then wherever the class is defined over there, then for only those elements the color will change. So basically through class method, I am only targeting these two elements. So this is the different. So that accordingly you can target a particular line and change the color or property irrespective of the same tag. So let's just write or execute this code, and you can see here, this is the website. The h3 tag simply it is providing its work. After that, what we have done, we have used the ID as header. For ID header, this is a div having ID as header. What we have done as in styling, we have aligned the text in center. So you can see the text is coming over here in the center part. After that, there is difference in their border radius because we have changed the border radius for other two classes. Like here, what we have done in this dot card, we are accessing this class card through it and changing its border radius to be 10 pixel, and accordingly it is providing me the output. And suppose if I want it to be aligned to the center, then how can I do that? Like this I can do that. Okay, so you can see now each and every text is coming. Right now it is looking ugly because we are just learning about the concepts and not designing anything. So that's why, just for having an idea about class and ID, I have elaborated you this example. Okay, I hope that it is clear to you. So everyone just execute the code and share it to me. Just a second. Guys, if other students are in lobby, then just let me know. Okay, just a second. Okay, Sanket and other student, why you have joined so late? Guys, the session timing is 6 p.m. and you are joining on 6:30, 6:40. This is not good, okay? So if you want to be continue this internship, then you have to be there on time, okay? And as I already told in your group that attendance is mandatory. Those who are joining the sessions regularly will only get the certificate. Okay, so please students provide the output in the chat box, that whatever we have discussed. For those who have joined just now, we were doing the CSS basic part over here. Okay, yesterday session we have covered HTML and today we are going with basic CSS. As you all have the idea about it, so I'm not going to deep dive into that. Just giving you an idea about it. Okay, for Kriti, let me see. Okay, good Kriti. Okay, okay, perfect Kriti. What about others? Uh, No, no, no. It will be good if you are doing that in session, but okay, if you want to just share that, so you can do that. Okay, no problem in that. Just keep the revising these concepts. Okay, that is important. That are you actually giving your time over here or not? Because that's only I want. You have to be honest with you. Otherwise, that will be not good if you are joining here and doing nothing. Okay, so I'm not talking about you, I'm talking generally that students sometimes just join and leave the session, so that is not good. Okay, great, Davidisa. Perfect. Okay, okay, good Kriti, good Davidisa. What about Sanket and yeah, Sanket, so just also try to execute this code. Okay, like this we are going to just move in further sessions. When the React part will also come, I am going to provide you the code part and you have to execute it at your end, because sometimes while executing you will handle some errors, you will counter with some errors, and from there you can learn a lot. Okay, so just try to execute it at your end and let me know in the chat box. You can paste the particular screenshot. Okay, so now basically what I was thinking that let's just revise all this concept through a particular example, including HTML as well as CSS. Okay, so then it will be good. And for that, you just give me 2 seconds. We will start with that. Let me just remove this code part from here. Okay, so let me just erase all the code written over here. And from style.css also, let me remove that. So basically what I will do, I will just start with a fresh program having some HTML and then the style CSS, and we will see that what we can do over it so that every ID concept, class concept, and other text concept will be clear. Okay. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to initialize the boilerplate. So for that, I will just use the VS Code shortcut, which is it. Okay, and I have already elaborated you about each and every line over here that this is for the document type, that it will let your browser know about that this document type is of HTML5, and accordingly you have to render it. After that, the metadata, which means that this is using UTF-8 encoding, means that it is using character encoding, character by character. It is going to read all the content from your file. After that, this viewport or content width, it will just set the width at the same as your screen. Okay, if you are using that in the mobile application, then it will adjust it accordingly to your mobile, and same for your laptop. Then there the title, whatever title we are providing over here, it will just come to our tab section. Okay, so now let's start with it. So first of all, in body section, what I can do, that we are using ID class and will create a button. Okay. And on hovering on that button, it will change some effect, and accordingly we will do it. So let's start with it. First of all, I am using an H1 tag over here and assigning it an ID so that I can just target this particular ID using has symbol over there and the name of the type. So suppose I am giving it a name title over here for this ID, just closing it and writing a content over it like welcome to my page. Okay, this is what we have done up to now, that creating a H1 tag and defining it. This is quite basic, but when we move from week 1 to week 2, then the standard will automatically raise. Okay, so don't worry if it is very easy for you. In React, every one of you are going to learn a new concept, some new concepts also. Okay, then suppose if I am creating a p tag with a class having name description. Okay, what will I do here? I will just use this page's style using CSS. Okay, and after that, let's create a button, small example, but you can get an idea accordingly for it. In this button, what we can do, we can just give it a name as class button, and accordingly I will provide the on hover, we will just change some color or attribute, anything regarding that. This is what we can do, like a h1 tag, a p tag, and a button tag. Now let's write the CSS for it. Okay, now I'm not going to continue with the internal CSS. We are going to use external CSS for it. So how you can do it? First of all, as ID title is there, so just let me know in the chat box that how I can access this in my external CSS. In chat box, just write that how can I target that. Okay, perfect, Kriti. Good. That's good. Okay, I hope that every one of you are aware of it, that we are going to use has symbol over there in style.css. Okay, so a has symbol over there and then title, title. After that, Whatever I want, I can provide that attribute over here. So to do that, suppose if I want to change the background color, I can change it to aqua. Okay. Now suppose if I want to align this text to suppose little left side. Okay. So I have what I have done in the left side. Now my text will be there. Then if I want to change the color of my text, so I can also do that. I want to make it suppose blue violet. I can do that. Then I can also use a font family over here, like font family, font weight, whatever you want to use. And here I am using this Arial type. Then if you want to also use the font weight, means if you want to make it bold, want to make it small, you can also do that. So right now I'm using this large over here. So for title, we have done some styling. Okay. Now let's access a particular class. So first of all, class description is there. So for accessing this description class, what I have to use? I have to use dot operator. So dot description. Okay. And here I will write the code for description. First of all, for description, let's change the color for it. Okay. Changing the color suppose to this aquamarine. Okay. And after that, so one more thing you can do, like if you want to just convert this text, whatever the text is written into uppercase, you can also do that. So text transform is one thing I can see. Yeah. So text transform is there. And here you can see different functions they are suggesting, like capitalize, lowercase, none, and uppercase. So I am just converting that description part to be in uppercase. I hope that it will be clear. Okay. And similarly, what you can do, you can just use font size and accordingly change the size for it. So any fixed pixel, suppose if you want to change it to 35 pixel, you can do it. For description class, we have done it. Now there is another class which is button. So let's now style for button. Okay. So how can I access this? Using the class name and this. For button, what you can do, like first of all, set the background for that particular button. And from here, I am just opting any one, which is O linear gradient background. Okay. And after that, color, that whatever the thing is written inside it, it will be visible. So for that, I will use this. Color is there, background is there. Wait. After this, I have some border property over there. Let's use border, and from here you can just select anyone, or you can use none also if you don't want to use it. Padding and border radius. Suppose if I just make the border radius, I can use in pixels. So 6 pixels, suppose I am creating the border radius for that particular button, means it will be rounded from the corners. Okay. So this is what I can do through class. Now, suppose if I have to also append some other functionality like hover functionality over it. So I can also use again that using this button, use colon, then hover, means when a user is going to hover over there at that button, then some function will trigger and accordingly the background color will change for that. So I am just setting the background to be suppose a random hexacode, which is like has 21883 whatever you want. Like this, basically what will happen, it will just append the green color over there. And suppose if you don't want to provide the hexacode, you can just write directly color over here. Like suppose if I write green, then it will just make it green. Okay. But you also have the knowledge of hexacode right now. Okay. So this is what we have done. Now let's try to execute it. But before executing, what we have to do, we have to link it. And where we are going to link it? In our HTML part. So link, then we have to provide them the relationship that it is a style sheet. Okay. After that, what we have to clarify that the href hyperlink reference, and it is your style.css. Hope it is clear to you now, as we have already gone through it, that how we are doing it. Okay. Now let's try to execute it and see that is everything is working fine or not. So just starting my server again. Okay, so it is not linked properly. Link is there, relation style sheet is there, and href style sheet style.css is also there. It hasn't styling it. Just a second. Okay. Style.css is there. We are targeting title, description, button, but nothing is changing, I guess. Okay. So wait, let me check that what is the issue, that why it is not doing it. Okay, let's restart it. No, still not. Let me just see with the issue. We have used the link tab over here in the head part. Okay. And we are linking it with a
Uh,
yes.
the style sheet spelling is
The
long.
style sheet spelling is wrong.
Oh, sorry. Okay, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think now it will work fine. Yes. Okay, okay. Now it is perfectly working. Now you can see right now the button is basically having the same color as the background, so it is not visible to us. But when I hover over it, it is changing its color to green. Okay, how it is happening? Because we are using hover functionality over there. Okay, and this is how it is working. So you can see whatever you have defined as the style, it is coming in our style.css. The text is aligned to our left by default also. And suppose if I change it to center, then it will move to center. So here it is text align. First of all, let's see if it work for right. Okay. And then we will see it for center. Okay. As you can see, it is now coming inside the right part. And if I change it to suppose center, then it will be changed accordingly. So now it will be there in center. Okay. And when we are hovering it, it is changing its color accordingly. So this is how we can do it. Okay. I hope that it is clear to you. And also we can just append some body, like see now right now what we are doing, we are just styling this particular text, whatever the tags are there, we are styling that. Suppose I want to style my whole body, like this body tag I want to style. So for that we can also access it using the body tag. So let's just also do that. Okay, so for that what I have to do, I have to just target my particular tag and accordingly set the background. So suppose if here I use the background color to be black so that it can be visible that where the changes are coming and not. Okay. And if you want to use text align and want to make it to be suppose at the center. Okay, then let's see is something changing or not. So you can see that whatever is written over there is coming to center. Let me just change the color from black to any other colors. Okay, let me use pink for it. Yeah. Okay, now we see. So see, whatever you have defined in the body section, every div is now aligned to the center part and everything is working fine here. You can see the click me button is also working. There is a mistake. Okay, so like this you can create it for you. Okay, any doubt, Davidisa? Okay, okay.
Is our
to ask a question.
Yes, yes, sure.
Yes, what if you use the same CSS code for both
Yeah.
inline, for both internal and external? Like you did the same thing in the same file. In what order will it work? Will it
Uh,
read the external first, or will it read the internal, or it will read the inline first?
Sorry, I am not getting your doubt. Can you please type it?
Okay.
Yeah, just type it over there. And what about others? Are they getting that what is going on? Just confirm in the chat box. Okay, so Kriti and Noor, is it clear to you? While Davidisa is sharing her doubt, up to then you can let me know that is it clear? Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, okay. So you were asking about the order. First of all, see, inline CSS will be executed first. Okay. Suppose if over here, as she is asking this doubt, that if this external CSS is linked over here, but suppose if someone has given any, you can say, attribute over here that they want to change the color, then inline will be executed first in that case. Okay, so we can also verify it that from here, suppose if for h1 tag, what I want that I want it to be like change this color property, style. First of all, sorry, I have to use style over here. This is I am making it inline. Okay, and now what I can do, I will use this color to be suppose blue. Okay, and then in external CSS I will just target this particular tag which is h1, and suppose in h1, so this is h1 tag, I am targeting in external CSS this h1 tag, and if I change it color now to suppose any color, suppose brown. Okay, and there I were using color blue. So let's see which color will be there. So according to me, inline CSS color will be there as it has the highest priority over there. So let's check with that. So if I just make it go live, so you can see welcome to my page has a color blue, but in external CSS, what we have mentioned? We have mentioned the color to be brown, but it is not changing it to brown because of the inline CSS. So that's why its priority is maximum. So whenever this is there in your code, it will execute first, then internal and then external CSS. Okay. So I hope that it is clear to you, Davidisa.
Yes, please.
Okay, okay. So this is how we can do the styling part over here. And now I think that we can move to the JavaScript part. Okay, because CSS is actually quite lengthy topic, and as we don't have to cover it in depth, you all have the knowledge, we will save this time and we will implement it in the higher concepts, like when we come to React, and that is also a large topic where we have to cover different topics like functional components, class components, then the hooks, that what is the difference between functional component and class components, why we need hook and what it allows. So at that time this time can be valuable. So for that, I am just not wasting that much time or investing that much time over there in this basic topics, which you all have the idea. Okay, so let's start with the JavaScript part. So just a second and we will continue with JavaScript. Okay. So basically what we have gone through, we have learned about HTML, we have learned about CSS, but right now there is no dynamic part over there in it. Okay, dynamic part from this you can just create a website which is static in nature. To actually apply the functionality over there, that this button will work accordingly and many more things, we use basically our JavaScript, which will provide the dynamic part to our web application and web page. And after that we are going to learn React, which is basically a framework used for JavaScript. Okay, so let's start with basic JavaScript first. So let me create a index.js file over here. Okay, so this JS is the extension we use for our JavaScript file. Now, can anyone of you let me know about the difference between let, where, and const? Have you any idea about the difference between them? I know that you all are familiar with each and every term, that what is let, what is where, and what is const, but have you the basic difference? Do you know the basic difference between them? Like about their scope, that which one is functional scope and which one is block scope, because that is important. This is something which like everyone knows the basic about it, that through this we can declare it multiple times. From for this we can, like if we are using const, then we can't reinitialize it. This is something which everyone know, but everyone don't know about the scope of it. Okay, so in case if there will be a question regarding the output, student will put the wrong answer over there because they don't are not familiar with the scope of that. So for that, let's discuss about the scope first, about let, where, and const. So first of all, const. Let's discuss about const. So const is basically your variable through which you are assigning a particular value. Suppose if I used const x equal to 10. Okay, then this value over here is basically fixed. You can't change this value. And if you are going to just do one thing, that you want to change the value of x to something else, it will throw an error that x is a constant. So you can't change its value. And basically this const variable is block scoped. Now, just remember about the scope. What does it mean by block scope? Means inside a particular parenthesis. See, this is known as a particular block. Wait, let me just let you know about block. A pair of curly parentheses is known as a block. So anything written inside it, suppose if I have used const x equal to 10, means that I can use the value of x as 10 inside this particular block. After that, the scope of this x will be ended or finished. Okay, so this is known as block scope. So your const is basically the block scope. Your let is also block scope. You have seen about this let keyword, we will use this keyword multiple times to initialize a parameter. This is also a block scope, means whenever there will be a pair of curly parentheses, inside that there will be the scope of this let keyword. Otherwise, it will throw us an error. So suppose if you want to provide the name as Vansh, then it will be only visible in a particular block inside which we have declared it. But if we talk about where, now let's suppose if I talk about this where, then this where is basically doing the same thing as let, but the scope of where is different. If suppose I am assigning a name, suppose Sonu to this one, suppose I can do. Okay, so this through this where, what will happen that this where is function scoped. Now function will be like this. Suppose if someone is creating a function test and inside that they have declared any variable. Okay, means suppose where name is 2 equal to Sonam, suppose for now. Okay, wait. I have to make it in string format. Okay, and if inside this if statement, suppose if there is any condition, right now I'm not writing the proper code. If there is inside this condition, I just want to access this name, means console.log the name value. And if I want to print this name value over here, name 2, you can say, so it will be assigned to me. Okay, means what will happen that I will get Sonam as the output over here. Okay, but if this is let, then it is impossible. It will throw me an error because it is, suppose if the scope is there inside it, and if there is this curly parenthesis, suppose, then let will be there only in this particular specific parenthesis or in this particular scope. But if we are talking about where, then it is all over this function. Means I can access the value of name to within this function test wherever I want to use it. I can use that. Okay. So this is basically the difference between them. So let's write a code for it, then it will be clear. Like suppose I am writing first of all for where. So I'm creating a function like test function. Let's create test function over there. I think I have done. So function is there. Function name is test. Okay, what I will do, I will just make this if condition as true. Okay, and inside it, I will just print my name as Vansh. Now see what I am doing over here. My variable is declared in this scope. Okay. Means in this scope, my variable is declared and I am printing that or consoling that outside it. So console.log, and what I want it to be printed. So just give them this name over here. Okay. And just call your function. Our function name is test. So see, let's see what will happen. So when I call this test function, see what will happen that you have defined the name as Vansh and you want to console that name within this function, which is test. And all of us are familiar that where is basically function scope. So it will not throw any error to us. It will just provide the output in terminal. Just a second, guys. Okay, so basically what I'm saying that suppose if from terminal, I will just execute it and then let you see just a second. Now you can see what is happening over here, that the name is printed for me at my console. You are not able to use Node right now if you don't have installed Node.js at your end. So don't worry about it. I'm just giving you a brief idea. Tomorrow I will let you know about that installation. Okay, then we will continue. So see what will happen that I am using where, and where is the function scope. So wherever it is defined, it will be there in throughout the function. But suppose if I change it to let, then can I get the output? I have a question from all of you that now I am using the let word over here. Just let me know that will I get the output of my name or not? In the chat box, just provide me that for it, what output I will get. Anyone? I'm not getting any response, guys, in the chat box. For this, like see, in this test function, I am using let, and let is basically what? A block scope. Okay, not function scope. So block scope means that it will be ended within the curly parenthesis itself. Okay, so how can we access this name over here? Okay, so let's try to execute it, then it will be more clear. So you can see it is providing me that name is not declared. Why it is providing me? Because I am using let over here, and let is basically a blocked scope. So its scope will end over here. So it will not go, provide you the output for name because it doesn't know that you are using let or you are using a block scope functionality. But if I use where over here again, then you can see I am getting the output. So this is the basic difference of scope. And I hope that it is clear now. So just in chat box, let me know that what is the scope of where, const and let. Just one by one drop that where scope, block, where is block scope or function scope, let is block scope or function scope. Write that like that. You have to provide me the output in the chat box. Where is functional scope and let const is block scope. Okay, good, Kriti. And I hope that now you have the idea that what is functional scope and what is block scope. What about others? Okay, good. Devijisa, good, Noor. Yeah. Now let's see about redeclaration and what is reassignment. So first of all, let's see about the concept of redeclaration. Redeclaration, as the name is suggesting, you are going to redeclare a particular variable. So suppose if I use where x is equal to 20, okay? And after that, where x equal to 10, suppose 25, okay? So this is basically, if I will console one by one, let's suppose if I am consoling it, console.log the value of x. Okay, this is I am consoling over here. So let's see, according to me that 25 must come. Okay, so if I execute it, you can see 25 is coming. As it is function scope, so after declaring another one, its scopes will be ended and it where x equal to 25 scope will start. Okay, so basically it is providing me the output. But suppose if I change it to let, okay, let x is 20 and let x is 25. Now, if I execute this, it will throw me an error directly. Okay, because as let is block scope, so until and unless that block will not end, or it will not provide you the output. Or if instead you can remember it as that where is basically used for redeclaration, but let is not used for redeclaration. Okay, so you can't use let over here for the redeclaration of an particular variable. I hope that it is clear. Let is basically same as your const for this block scope or redeclaration. Now let's do the reassignment. Now there is difference between redeclaration and reassignment. Redeclaration means that for the same variable, I am again using keyword for it or let or where I am using. But suppose I just change it like this, that let x equal to 20 and then change the value for me to x is 10. Okay, and console it. Then now it will just execute. What will happen over here? If I run it, you can see now it is working fine. What you have done, you have just changed the value of x equal to 20 to x equal to 10. Okay, but this thing can't be done through const. Suppose if I do this like const y is equal to 10, and if I make y to 20, then it will throw me an error. If I am going to console it, console.log y, okay. And if I just execute this code, let me just clear my terminal first. And if I just execute it, are you able to see that I am getting an output for this one, that console.log x is 10. I have reassigned the value using let. That is basically we can do. But when I am providing y is 20, then it is throwing me an error. You can't do this. Why? Because you have defined that y is basically a constant and constant value can't be changed. So that's why it is providing us that error, that assignment to constant variable is not permitted. Okay. I hope that you have got it, that what is redeclaration and what is reassignment. Clear, guys? Okay, so if it is clear, then that's it for today's session, because we are going to continue with the JavaScript in tomorrow session. Okay, I will let you know about arrow function and traditional function, that what is the difference between them. Then we will see some basic, you can say operations or basic methods like push method in arrays in JavaScript, push, pop, and shift method, how we can use that. That basically we are going to cover in the tomorrow session. So it is also a basic session. And after that, on Friday, like suppose tomorrow is, I guess, Thursday. Okay. So on Thursday, we are going to cover with JavaScript. And on Friday, I will assign you a project. We'll start with React setup, that how we are going to set up React locally in our system. Okay. And for that, I want everyone to attend the session from the laptop, because from React, the main journey will start. These are some basic things, and we are not just focusing on each and every concept over here, because I am just brushing up with your concept. But once we reach to React, then we will start with the full fledged every concept. We are going to deep dive into it, and accordingly we are going to do that. Okay. So if there is any doubt, then you can ask, guys. And if everything is clear, then you can also respond in chat box that yes, it is clear to you, whatever we have covered. Just let me know in the chat box. Okay, great, Kriti. What about Noor? And okay, that's good. Davidisa and Noor. Is it clear to you also? Yes, sure, Noor. I will do it. Don't worry. Okay. I will just let you know about that what is where, what is const, and what is let. For the first 10 minutes, I will just revise these things. Okay. Don't worry about that if you haven't got it. Okay, okay, no problem, no problem. I will just let you know in yes, tomorrow session. Okay. We will start with let, const, and where. Just keep this in your mind, that let and const are block scoped. Block scoped means that within a curly braces pair, their scope will end. But your where is function scoped, means if you are defining a where variable using where, then you can access this throughout the particular function where it is defined. This is the basic difference. Then I will let you know about the difference through a particular example in yes, tomorrow session. Okay, don't worry about that. Uh, okay, so any other doubt, Noor? Otherwise, all other things were clear to you? Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, then I will just start with this basic things, let, where, and cons in the tomorrow session. And if there is no doubt is there, then guys, you can just leave the session. Thank you so much for joining. Just revise all these concept at your end, practice it. Okay. Okay, thank you, Devrisa. Thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you, everyone.